Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sananalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to start chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. So total Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. So out of this we have completed 8 chapters. Now we are on 9th chapter. So in the previous chapter, Lord Krishna mentioned that the pure devotee is solely fixed on performing Ananya Bhakti unto him, and he surpasses the path of light and darkness. So we saw the two paths of light and darkness, and we saw how person, a yogi, when he lives his life, at what point, whether in Uttarayana or Dakshina, and it depends where he will go. So we saw this last time, and now uh, further Krishna explains also how to become such a pure devotee, Ananda Bhakta. We see in chapter 2 to 6 or 7, 8. Now in chapter 9, knowledge of Keval Bhakti, is most confidential or Guhyatama Dhyama is been given here. And so chapter 2 to 6 is the knowledge of matter and spirit. So we saw the matter and spirit in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is confidential knowledge. With 7, 8 is like giving some bhakti knowledge. So this is more confidential. And now 9 chapter is the most confidential knowledge, because it describes the majestic aspect of Krishna. That how Krishna has excellence, or Krishna Aishwarya has been shown to, and how of excellence of pure devotee is also shown. So uh, these things will be discussed here. Again, in chapter number 7 and 9, we see that we hear about Krishna's energy and relation with the material world is given, and how Krishna is all pervading. And again, demigod worship is given, Krishna worship, and other things also done. So now we'll start verse number 1. So in this, Krishna explains that who can receive this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We saw in chapter number 4 also, Krishna says, one who is non-envious, anusuyave, who is non-envious, he will receive the knowledge. And second is one who has faith. So one should be anusuya, means he does not have any envy. And second is one should have faith. If these are there, then one can receive jnana, knowledge of pure bhakti, and again vijnana also. So let's see the verse number 1. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyave jnanam vijnanam sahitam yatyatva mokshase ashubhat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you the most confident knowledge and revelation, knowing which you shall be relieved of all the miseries of the material existence. So again, one who is envious of Krishna, he cannot get knowledge. In this material also, we don't teach anything to person who is envious. Why? because he will learn from us and then will find some mistakes with us and then he will blaspheme us only. In this way, what will happen? His path to progress will be detailed. So better not to teach any envious person. Be away. We should be away from an envious person. Similarly, Krishna also is saying that I am teaching this knowledge to you because of one reason, that you are non-envious. At the same time, Krishna has faith uh, in Arjuna, and Arjuna has faith in Krishna that whatever Krishna speaks is true, and therefore we should listen to this. So let's see. Purport. As a devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Lord, he becomes enlightened. This hearing process is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are full of potencies, and these potencies can be realized if topics regarding the Supreme Godhead are discussed among devotees. This cannot be achieved by the association of mental speculators or academic scholars, for it is a realized knowledge. So Bhagavatam reveals more and more, Bhagavad-gita reveals more and more when this literature is being discussed among devotees. If this literature is not discussed among devotees, then Bhagavatam or Bhagavad-gita is a person actually, and because it is a person, it will not reveal itself. Like in this world also, if we see, if somebody is attacking us, we'll not go and be friendly to that person. But if somebody is very friendly, warmly, and he likes our progress, then we'll go and meet that person. So similarly, if Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are, it is like a jewel box, and devotion or non-awareness is like key to that jewel box. So others may have the jewel box, others may have Gita, but till the time you don't have the key, it's like you don't get the value of the jewels. You don't receive any value. It's like just a stone. But when you get the keys, then you can take the jewel out. You can see, you can sell, you can derive some value out of it. Similarly, when Bhagavad Gita is being discovered on devotees, then you can understand its meaning. You can have some knowledge. At the same time, it can be useful in our day-to-day lives also. So the devotees are constantly engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the signs of Krishna in association of the devotees. So devotees, they do Lord service, and Lord understands the mentality that why the devotees come to me, and how much is sincere. Does he want something? Does he not want something? Why is and then he gives the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. So by our intelligence, actually, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. We can just try. But when Krishna gives intelligence, then we can understand Bhagavad Gita. And that also is the of devotees. So discussion of Krishna is very important. And if a fortunate person has such a session and tries to assimilate the knowledge, then he will surely make advancement towards spiritual realization. So discussing about Krishna is very, very, very beneficial, very potent. Potent means it has very good effects, and we should know that in this world, if we see, if the medicines are not potent, then it will not help us. Similarly, we see that there are so many things in this world which are not so potent. We hear so many things like news and all. So it doesn't have any much influence or much power on affect us. But this Krishna consciousness is very, very potent, and therefore it should be understood in the association of devotees. If it is not there in the association of devotees, we will not be able to understand much. So therefore, we should think of this. So, and if a fortunate person has an association and tries to assimilate knowledge, he will surely make advancement towards spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describes in this 9th chapter matters more confident than he has already disclosed. So this is more confidential knowledge we already discussed. The very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter is more or less an introduction to the rest of the book. And the second and third chapters, the spiritual knowledge is described, is called confidential. Topics discussed in the seventh and eighth are especially related to devotional service, and because they are being enlightened by in Krishna consciousness, they are more confidential. But the matters which are described in ninth chapter deal with unalloyed pure devotion. Therefore, this is called the most confidential. So we already discussed this previously. Second chapter describes our soul. We are not this body and soul is confidential knowledge. Seventh, eight relate to bhakti, so it is more confidential. And 9 is especially unalloyed bhakti, only pure devotional. So this most confidential part. So one who is situated in the most confidential knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. So if one is situated in this most transcendental knowledge, then it is very good that, and actually somebody does bhakti are actually very fortunate, very fortunate. It is said, Brahmanda Brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Tabij. So in this Brahman, in this universe, there are lots and lots of living entities. There are like crores and crores of crores means billions and trillions of living entities which are wandering in so many species of life. And Kono Bhagyavan means one whose fortune has been really risen. In this world, people think that if we get money, we are fortunate. If we get a good house, good wife, good children, we are fortunate. Oh, no. So he says that Bhagwan Brahma Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Labhi. So because of the mercy of Guru and Krishna, one gets this Bhakti Labhi. So it is not very easy to get, and therefore Ananya Bhakti is very confidential. So one who is situated in the most conscious knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. He therefore has no material pangs. Although he is in this material world, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that although one who has a sincere desire to render loving service to the Supreme Lord is situated in the conditional state of material existence, he should consider liberated. So even though one is in material body, but one has desire to serve Lord, then he is considered liberated, even if he is in material body, because today or tomorrow he will definitely be liberated. So therefore, we consider him liberated. Similarly, we shall find in the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter that anyone who is engaged in that way is a liberated person. So 10th chapter we also see further. So 10th chapter we also describe the opulence of Krishna and in different things. So the question comes how to see Krishna in different things. So 10th chapter will describe how we can see Krishna in all the material elements. Now the first verse has specific significance. The word idam jnanam, this knowledge, referred to pure devotion service, which contains of 9 different activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. By the practice of these 9 elements of devotion service, one is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. When one's heart is thus cleared of material contamination, one can understand the signs of Krishna. Simply to understand that a living entity is not material is not sufficient. That may be the beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between the activities of body and the spiritual activities of one who understands that he is not the body. So, to know that we are not this body is not sufficient. We should further go and we should know if we are not this body, this soul, then what is our role in life? And we should also understand that, oh, there is some super soul. So any philosophy should explain these things. Who are we? Who is God? And what is our connection with God? So if you see any philosophy, will tell us like who are we? And so somebody will say, okay, this philosopher said that, oh, you are a Jiva. Then he say, who is Lord? Krishna is the Lord. And then what is the relationship? We are part and parcel, and therefore we need to do bhakti. So this is the question which every philosophy needs to answer. And then one may get progress in that philosophy. So Here also, the beginning is we are not his body, but spirit soul. But then we need to do bhakti of Krishna to get the result. In the 7th chapter, we already discussed the opulent potency of Supreme Personality of Godhead. His different energies, the inferior and superior natures, and all this material manifestations. Now, in the 9th chapter, the glories of the Lord will be delineated. The Sanskrit word anusuyave in this was also very significant. Generally, the commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad-gita very inaccurately because they are envious of Krishna. Their commentaries are useless. So, actually, everyone in this world is envious. Otherwise, we will not come in this material world. But the devotees who come in this material world, the pure devotees, they come because to uplift other people, and they are not envious. But otherwise, every person is envious in this world. Otherwise, we will not come in this material. So, recently, I think we have shared that we are going to the Vrindavan forest, and that we saw the butterflies. So butterflies look very good, very innocent and all, but their mating season comes now uh, after the rain. So there is a specific tree in which this butterfly sits, and they will drink some juice from the tree, and so many butterflies come and they will take the juice. So they literally take so much juice from the tree that the tree dies. And after what happens, after they become intoxicated, they draw a circle in the sky above. And when one butterfly draws that circle, no other male butterfly can come there. So one male butterfly will draw a circle, no other will come. And like this, there will be fight between butterflies. And after the fight, they will kill other butterflies. So in this world, if we see, everyone wants to become superior. Everyone wants to say that I am better than you, and Krishna or God is nothing. So even a small thing like butterfly, and we see other animals like dog or anybody, if we see anybody, any animal, even the cows also, if we see, they're actually out of all animals, they're the most gentle and the most more of goodness. But even the cows, if we see now, they have a group. They will form a group and they will stay in a group. And if another cow will come in their group from outside, then they will not let the cow in. And therefore, his general tendency. And therefore, if we see that in our life also, we want to become great. We have so many things that how this person is great or this person is great. So whatever envy also we have towards other person, it is generated because we have envy towards Krishna, and it is reflected into different persons. So generally, a singer will not have envy towards the person who is a good orator, but the person who is singer will have envy towards another person who is a good singer. So this is what is very common in all the communities, and therefore it is said here that even if they are highly scholarly, see, highly scholarly means they know the things and they are aware of all the tattva and everything, and still they are envious. So it is very difficult to go, and most dangerous for devotees to be envious of people of God. And most, if we see, the practical example of most people will write on Bhagavad-gita, but they will write their own commentary. Like one example is, there is a verse in Bhagavad-gita 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanvishto. So how do you explain Sarvasya chaham? So everybody should drink tea. Chaham. Cha means chai. So everybody should drink tea. And which tea? It is Sanvishto. Sanvishto means on a, not on a nowadays modern gas, but previously that kerosene gas or some shigdi should used to come. So they'll say that, oh, you should all drink tea where you send Bhagavad-gita. So like this, there are so many commentators. Commentators will comment like this. Now, everybody knows that during the time when Bhagavad-gita was spoken, there was no tea actually. Nobody used to drink tea. Like, and someone will say that, oh, Krishna is saying, surrender to Guru, and I am that Guru. So please surrender to me. So like this, some commentators say, or some commentators will say, oh, it is not Krishna who is speaking. It is somebody who is inside Krishna who is speaking. It is not Krishna. No, it is third person, fourth person. So like this, they will speak. And there are so many conclusions, and therefore they write very inaccurately. They don't know the essence why Krishna is written like this, and they are all enemies of Krishna. The commentaries are useless because it will not liberate us. We'll be always bound in material world. Therefore, the commentaries are useless. The commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. So we should hear only the commentaries which are given by devotees. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. So by chanting the holy name, what happens is gradually we are removing the envy in the heart, and gradually we are getting purified. So anybody who is envious cannot explain others. So therefore, no one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. One who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is a fool. So much commentaries should be very carefully avoided. So such commentaries should be carefully avoided. So if we see even anywhere in this world also now, if somebody wants to invest money, so he will check so many schemes. So today's time also, if we see for investment, most of things will be bogus. Very, very, very few schemes will be very genuine, giving good returns and saying the truth. Similarly, if we see in Bhagavad Gita also, most of the Bhagavad Gita, the commentaries are not useful. Very few are having good commentaries. And out of that, very few are ones which will actually make devotees. Like there are very few schemes which will actually make money for the person. And similarly, there are actually few commentaries which will make devotee. And therefore, the Bhagavad Gita which is written by Srila Prabhupada is very, very useful to understand that because it has made so many devotees all around the world. And therefore, we should avoid other commentaries. Such commentaries should be very carefully avoided. For one who understands the Krishna Supreme Personality God, the pure and transcendent personality, these chapters will be very beneficial. So, if you understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, is pure and transcendental, then these chapters are useful. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand what Krishna is saying. We will say, oh, Krishna is also egoist person. He's just boasting about himself. See, sometimes we see even Krishna's friends like Subala or Sridama, he also boasts. So once Sridama was having, Krishna asked, let us have wrestling. Then Sridama said, oh, Krishna, did you forget that every time you always lose and still you want to fight? I am more powerful than you. And then Krishna says, okay, but did you not think that I killed Aghasur? Then they'll say, oh, we don't know whether you killed Aghasur or not, because we all were asleep. Anybody could have killed Aghasur. Okay, then Krishna say, I have done, I have done so many things. I lifted the golden hill. Then they will say, no, we don't think so, because all devotees of Vishnu empowered, and therefore all help, and therefore they lifted a golden. It is not you lifted. So like this, they also will say that you are not God, but that is out of love. And then there are so many exchanges, and then Sridama said, okay, I think you can only defeat Subala, no other person, and that also out of cheating. Otherwise, you cannot defeat anybody. And then Krishna will say, but I killed Bakasur and so many ones. Then they will say, oh, we could have killed them, but just that we want to give you some credit, and therefore we allowed you to kill him. Otherwise, it is just we could have just finished it off. And this way they will make fun of Krishna, and Krishna will enjoy this. But this is out of pure Vatsalya friendship. This is not like impersonalized. We say that, oh, you are not Lord and all. So this is a difference we should understand between devotees and the outsiders. because sometimes we hear devotees also speak like this. So this is not what outsiders are speaking. It's a very different thing. So you should understand this. So next verse. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. So Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam. So what is Pratyaksha means? Direct experience. So you should have direct experience of this. And second, Susukam. So when you practice devotional service, we are very happy. The practice itself is very happy. So what to tell about the results? This knowledge is a king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So this knowledge is king of education. So in this schools and colleges, this knowledge should be given. Why? It is the most secret, first of all, because not many know this. It is pure, and it gives direct perception of supreme self by realization. So who are we and all? It gives direct perception. Perfume and it is everlasting and joyfully performed. So people will be just happy by performing devotional service. Just by chanting Hare Krishna, people will be happy. What to speak of other things? So if the process itself is so joyful, then who will live bhakti? Nobody. And if process is so good, then result is ultimately guaranteed because one has to do process and one is doing daily. So purport, this chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the king of education because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. So whatever we have discussed before, this is the essence of all this here. So among the principal philosophers in India are Gautama, Kanada, Kapila, Yajnavalkya, Sandilya, and Vaishwanarva. And finally, there is Vyasadeva, the author of Vedanta Sutra. So there is no dearth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now, the Lord says that this ninth chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of the Vedas and different kinds of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential or transcendent knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And the king of all confident knowledge culminates in devotional service. So, this Gautama, Kannada, Kapila, Yajnavalkya, and Sandilya, Vaishnava, the different forms of philosophies like Nyaya, Sankhya, Mimamsa, and all. So they have discussed all this philosophy in detail. And finally, Vyasadeva has written is author of Vedanta Sutra, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all things. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra and all. So this is there is no doubt. Actually, we have a lot of knowledge still left after so much books are destroyed by in the Mughal Empire, in the British Empire, and all. Still, we have a lot of knowledge, and therefore, this ninth chapter is called the King of Such Knowledge. Accents can be derived, and most confidential. So the confident knowledge is knowing that we are this, not his body but soul, and then to the relation with Krishna, devotional service, and this knowledge comes in pure devotional service. So it's most confident knowledge. Generally, people are not educated in this confident knowledge; they are educated in external knowledge. As far as ordinary education is concerned, people are involved in so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineer, etc. There's so many departments of knowledge all over the world, and many have huge universities. But there is unfortunately no university or education institution where the science of spirit soul is instructed. So we know this. There are so many departments. If you go to any college, anybody, there are so many subjects: politics, philosophy, physics, chemistry, astronomy, engineering, mathematics, and there are departments also. But nobody speaks about this soul. And no university or institution where the science of spirit soul is discussed. Yet the soul is the most important part of body. So the thing which is most useful is never taught in the college. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. So for the bodily needs, we spend a lot. There are a lot of colleges, universities which teach about it. So many doctors, professions are there who are available to take care of the body. If there is some fever, there's some medicine available and all. But nobody is looking after the soul, taking care of it. And therefore, we see that a lot of people have emotional breakdown, suicides, mental depression and all, because the science is all related to matter, and matter is nashwar. Whatever you do, it will die. It will just degenerate. So shy, it says shy, but it's always destroying. So matter has this property that as soon as it start destroying. So because it starts, it is always destructible and destroying. We can never receive happiness from it, because happiness is which is everlasting, which is there with us. So because the matter itself is being destroyed, the happiness which we are looking here in this material world. So many people are looking happiness in relationships. They get married so that they'll be happy. They have children so that they're getting happy. Like this, they bond with so many people, relatives. They make so they become happy. But actually, they are looking happiness at the wrong place. This material world is described as dukhalayam or sashvatam. It is full of misses and it is temporary. So we are looking at the wrong place, and therefore we'll never find happiness in this material world. If we want actual happiness, then we have to go to spiritual world, and therefore we should not work on asat, which is not there permanently but temporary, but we should work on sat, or which is permanent, that is soul. So it doesn't mean that we should close all these universities, like from tomorrow no college. No, this knowledge should be given, but the most important knowledge is the knowledge of soul, which has to be given. If this knowledge itself is given, just Bhagavad second chapter, not more than that. If that is also being taught, so many people will be not doing suicides. So many things will be solved. People who are in depression, people who are addicted to so many things, from mobile to cigarette to so many things, they'll be saved just by having some basic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that we are not this body but spirit soul, and body is perishable, whereas spirit soul is cannot be destroyed. So if one even does suicide, still he will not achieve the results, because he will not get another body also, a gross body and the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, ego, and they will disturb him. So therefore, there is no need to do any suicide. There are so many other ways also. So in the Bhagavad Gita, especially from the second chapter on, stresses the importance of the soul. In the very beginning, the Lord says that this body is perishable and that the soul is not perishable. Andavanta ime dehe nitya shokta sharirinaha. So this body, how much care we take, how much, without limits, having so many doctors with us, having the most comfortable bed, comfortable place to stay, and having all the high-tech equipments, still the body is perishable and it will die. So whether maybe rich, maybe poor, may know, may not know, whether young, old, whatever it may be, the body is perishable. And therefore, we should try to reduce our attachment with body also. It's very difficult, but still we should try, because today or tomorrow this body will go. And that time, forcefully, we will have to cut relation with the body. So better we should try whatever we can. This is the most confident part of knowledge, simply knowing that the spirit soul is different from the body and that its nature is immutable, indivisible, and eternal. But that gives no positive information about the soul. Sometimes people are under the impression that the soul is different from the body, and that when the body is finished or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in the void and becomes impersonal. But actually, that is not a fact. How can the soul, which is so active within the body, be inactive after being liberated from the body? It is always active. If it is eternal, then it is eternally active. And its activities in the Supreme Kingdom are the most confident part of spiritual knowledge. These activities of the spirit soul are therefore indicated here as constituting the king of knowledge, the most confident part of all knowledge. So sometimes people think that when the body is finished, then what will happen? The soul will merge into impersonal Brahma Jyoti and all, but it's not the fact. Soul is always active, first of all, and second, soul can never become super soul. So soul is always depends soul as independent entity for lifetime. Where means it will always be that independent. This knowledge is the purest form of all activities, as explained in the Vedic literature. In the Padma Puran, man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are here shown to be results of sin after sin. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reactions. For instance, when a seed of a particular tree is sown, the tree does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. So, this is the knowledge which is pure. And Padma Purana, the most sinful activities have been analyzed. And what are the results are being shown that are seen after sin, we filter water. So those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reactions. So sometimes what happens in material world, somebody does something wrong, but doesn't get instant result. It takes some time. So the person thinks that, oh, if I do wrong, also there is no such result. And therefore the people gradually they go on doing wrong things. And they'll go on doing sins after sin. But we should understand that the gap is given for us to rectify. But between what we do wrong and between what the sin we can incur, between there is some gap so that we can rectify and we can come out of this mentality and a whole problem itself. But still, instead of rectifying, people think that, oh, this is an opportunity given to us to do something more wrong. And therefore, they are always in problem. Because after some time, there will be such problem which we cannot even imagine. The type of suffering which they will get, we cannot imagine. And therefore, if somebody is engaging in fruitive activities, they are engaging different stages and forms of sinful action. For instance, when a seed of particular tree is sown, the tree does not appear immediately. It will take time. So it will take some time before one gets the reaction. Similarly, when one starts bhakti also, it will take some time with the, when it, till the time it gets matured. So it is the first a small sproutling plant, then it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers and bears fruit. And when it is complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by persons who have sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a man performs a sinful act, and like a seed, it takes time to fructify. There are different stages. The sinful action may have already stopped in the individual, but the results of fruit of that sinful action are still to be enjoyed. There are sins which are still in the form of a seed, and there are others which are already fructified and are giving us fruit, which we are enjoying in distress and pain. So whatever karma we have, they are in different stages. One is already fructified, which we have seen, the place which we take birth and so many things already set. We don't have any choice. So these are already come. Some are in the pipeline, which are going to come in the few years. And some are in the beach form. Means I don't know when they will come. Maybe next lifetime, maybe after 10 lifetime. We don't know. It's only in unclear form. It will come when it wants. So we see that the sinful reaction may have stopped, but the results of the fruit of simulation are still to be enjoyed. So when one becomes a devotee or otherwise also, one may stop the sinful reactions. But what happens is the impression still remains. and that is more painful. And therefore, one needs to take care of it also. And when a person performs some sinful act, so there are two things which will come when performs a sinful act. One is the the pap which will come, and another is the impression which will remain, which will again uh, push him to do the act again, which is wrong. Like I'll give you example of a person who is smoking. So when person smokes, first thing he gets is his lungs are getting damaged or some wrong things happening to him. So that is the first punishment given. But more than this, the second punishment is that when second time he sees a cigar or something which he smokes, he will directly be attracted to that and will start smoking. And if somebody says it is wrong, it will harm your body and thing, likely he will not hear also, because the impression is strong that if I and what does media do is make it so glorious, like smoking cigarette, then somebody think, oh, I'm very advanced, therefore I'm smoking. And this way, because of the propaganda which is going outside, so many people are put into bad habits, and then once put, one will not get out of this bad habit. And we have seen with so many people who are drunkards and all, so they go to de-addiction centers, and for some time they leave it, they will not drink or anything. But as soon as they'll go out of the de-addiction center, they'll again start, because the impression is so deep that one cannot stop it. So we need to take care of these two things. One is the reaction, and one is the impression, which will again impel us to do the wrong thing, and that has needs to be wiped out. I explained the 28th verse of the 7th chapter. A person who has completely ended the reactions of all sinful activities and is fully engaged in pious activities, being freed from the duality of the material world, becomes engaged in devotion service to the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. In other words, those who are actually engaged in devotion service to the Supreme Personality or Supreme Lord are already freed from all reactions. This statement is confirmed in the Padma Purana. अप्राप्तफलं पापं पूतं बीजं फलोन्मुखं क्रमणेवा प्रलीयते विष्णुर्भक्तिरतात्मनाम्. For those who are engaged in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reactions, whether fructified in stock in the form of seed or gradually vanish. So all this, whether they are in the form of stock, they are from the seed, means anytime they can germinate in the future, or which are already fructified, they all gradually vanish. So the word you have to notice gradually. Gradually means it will vanish in a long period of time. We should not expect immediate results. We should never ever expect immediate results will get. It will gradually vanish. Therefore, the purifying potential of devotion is very strong. It's called Pavitram Uttam, the purest. Uttam means transcendental. Tamas means this material world or darkness. And Uttama means that which is transcendental to material activities. Devotional activities are never to be considered material, although sometimes it appears that devotees are engaged just like ordinary men. One who can see and is familiar with devotional service will know that they are not material activities. They are all spiritual and devotional, uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. So outwardly, whatever activities we see will look the same only. Maybe it is doing for the Krishna, or for other, it will look like same. But internally, the intention is different. And therefore, one will get different results. So there is no change in the activity actually. If somebody from material life comes to spiritual life, there is not much change in the activity. What is changed is the consciousness, the person, how he is thinking, what he is thinking, it's changed. Otherwise, if we see there is no major change in the activities per se. The non-devotee also cooks, the devotee also cooks. Just that the devotee needs to offer the food to the Lord before they can honor it. That's all. Otherwise, in activity wise, outsiders and devotees are same. There is no problem. The outsiders who go for job, devotees also go for job, and they also earn. Outsiders also earn. So in that way, there is not much difference outwardly. But the internal effect is one will get liberated in this lifetime if he follows Krishna's uh, message, or one will be entangled here again and again to take birth and all if one does not follow Krishna's message. Otherwise, outwardly is all same. It is said that the execution of the devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually perceived when we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is in course of chanting without offenses, feels some transcendental pleasure and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. So, such a person, if he chants without offenses, they will feel some pleasure and quickly all the material contamination will go away. So, here also the key word is offenses. It is not just chanting. One may chant 64 rounds also. But if one is chanting with offenses, then the chances are that he will progress very slowly. So without offenses, one chant, then one can chant and one can progress very fast. So this is actually seen furthermore if one engages engages not only in hearing but in trying to broadcast the message of devotional activities as well, or if he engages himself in helping the missionary activities of Krishna consciousness, he gradually feels spiritual progress. This advancement in spiritual life does not depend on any kind of previous education or qualification. The method itself is so pure that by simply engaging in it, one becomes pure. So, one need not just hear, but one should also try to broadcast the message of devotional service. So, in this way, he'll feel spiritual progress also because he's helping others. And the advancement does not depend on previous education. No, the previous education may not be useful in devotion sometimes, and sometimes we have seen that people who are not very educated, maybe 10th or something pass, uh, they are doing so much services for Krishna, and therefore they are advancing also so fast. So therefore, there is not uh, any kind of it does not kind of qualification to attain that level. In the Vedanta Sutra 3 to 26, this is also describing the following words. Prakashascha karmani abhyasat. Devotion service is so potent that simply by engaging the activities of devotion service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. So, holy name is all the potency. Problem is we are not able to access that potency. We are not having a container to take the mercy. Otherwise, the mercy is always available. A practical example of this can be seen in the previous life of Narada, who in that life happened to be the son of maidservant. He had no education, nor he was born to a high family, but when his mother was engaged in serving the pure devotees, the great devotees. So this Vedantist, her mother was serving. So they came in for 4 months of Chaturmasya because generally the saints do not travel in the time of rains. The previous saints nowadays, so we travel so many places in time also. Time zone is not so problem. But previously, the saints will not travel in the time of rains. And what will they do? They will intensify the bhajan for the 4 months. And that time, once they came to this maid servant, and she was serving them. And that time Prahlad Maharaj was, Narad Muni was very young, almost 5 years of age only. So he was also serving the Vedantists, and in this way, he had no education. And because her mother was very poor, her mother was working in another house just to maintain them. And therefore, because Narada was very, very poor, he had no education, and nor he was born anywhere else. So when the mother would not be present, what would the Prahlad Maharaj, Narad Muni do? So Narad Muni would serve them. And he says, once what happened is, उच्छिष्टतालेपन अनुमोदित दिजय सकृत स्म भुंजने तद अपासता किल विषय एवं प्रवर्तस्य विशुद्ध चेतसस्य तद्धर्म एतात्मरुचि प्रजायते. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 1.5.5, Narad Muni describes his previous life to his disciple Vyasadeva. He says that while engaged as a boy servant from the purified devotees during the 4 months of the stay, he was intimately associated with them. Sometimes those sages left remnants of food in the dishes, and the boy would wash the dishes, wanted to taste the remnants. So he asked the devotees for the permission, and when they gave it to Narada, Narada ate the remnants and constantly became free from all sinful reactions. As he went on eating, he gradually became very pure-hearted, as pure-hearted as sages. The great devotees relished the taste of unceasing devotional service to the Lord by hearing and chanting, and Narada gradually developed the same taste. So, what happened is Narad Muni was serving the Vedantis for so many days, and he developed a desire that I want to take the remnants of the food. Now, outside world, we don't generally recommend to take remnants because there may be some diseases which can transfer something. So many things can happen. But if they're really, really pure devotees, then what happens is if we get the remnants, then our devotional life will progress very, very fast. And therefore, here it is said, Narad Muni just got remnants of the Vedantis, and therefore he became also pure-hearted as the sages. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says that Vaishnav Pada Dhuli, Vaishnav Pada Jal. So this lotus, the dust of lotus feet of the devotees, the water which has washed the lotus feet of devotees, and the Bhakta Bhukta Avshesh, whatever remnants we get from the devotee, they are the most powerful. They are the most powerful things which can help us to grow bhakti. They are called the Mahabal. And here, Narad Muni, he was already serving the Vedantish, and he also got the remnants. And Narad Muni is also like Prahlad Maharaj, only 5 years of age when her mother died actually. So this comes in Bhagavatam, that what happens, he had only her mother and she also died by the snake bite. But Narad Muni was never critical, or he was not thinking, oh Lord, what did you do? I had only one shelter and that also is gone. Narad Muni thought this is an time, or this is the perfect time for me to develop devotion service. And he directly started walking from his house, and in this way he roamed all over the places, and he became very much enlightened, and he just got once the darshan in that lifetime. And after that, next lifetime, as Narad Muni, we see how he is making so many people devotees. So literally, the whole dynasty of Manu, from Privat Maharaj to Uttanpad Maharaj, he has delivered almost all of them. And we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is there everywhere. It may be Yudhishthira Maharaj, it may be Prahlad Maharaj, it may be Chitraketu Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, anybody, they're all disciples of Narad Muni. And therefore, uh, if we get some association of advanced devotees, if we get some remnants from the plates of advanced devotees or jal or anything, we should happily take it, and will that way will progress further. So Narad says, Tatranam aham Krishna katha pragayatam anugrahena ashavam shanvanam manoharam ताशद्दयामेनु padam Vishnavata priyasarasi anga mamad bhavat ruchi. By associating with the sages, Narada got the taste for hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and it developed great desire for devotional service. Therefore, as described in the Vedanta Sutra, Prakashascha karmani abhyasat, if one is engaged simply in the acts of devotional service, everything is revealed to him automatically and he can understand. This is called prakashasya. This is called pratyaksha, directly perceived. So, just by associating, we get so much taste. So, actually, even the modern scientists believe, even the modern philosophers believe, even the modern people believe that we are average of 5 people who we associate with daily. In general, we are average of 5 people whom we associate on a daily basis. So therefore, association is very powerful, and we should choose our association as far as possible so that we may progress very nicely. The word dharmyam means the path of religion. Narada was actually a son of maid servant. He had no opportunity to go to school. He was simply assisting his mother. And fortunately, his mother rendered some service to the devotees. The child Narada also had an opportunity to, and simply by association, achieved the highest goal of all religion. The highest goal of all religion is devotional service. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Yadoksaje. So religious people generally do not know that the highest profession of religion is the attainment of devotional service. As we have already discussed in this regard to the last verse of chapter 8, Vedeshu Yagyeshu Tapassu Shaiva. Generally, Vedic knowledge is required for self-realization. But here, although Narada never went to school for spiritual master and was not educated in Vedic principles, he acquired highest results of Vedic study. This process is so potent that even without performing the religious process regularly, one can be raised to the highest perfection. How is this possible? It is also confirmed in Vedic literatures. Acharyavan Purusho Veda, one who is in association with the great Acharyas, even if one is not educated or has even studied or has even studied never studied the Vedas, can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization. So this is the association of pure devotees. If one gets, one should never leave it, because even one is not educated or not studied the Vedas, still will get all the necessary information is required for him to practice nicely. The process of devotional service is a very happy one. Susukam. Why? Devotional service consists of Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So one can simply hear the chanting of the chanting of the glories of the Lord, or can attend philosophical lectures on transcendental knowledge given by authorized acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remnants of food offered to God. A nice palatable dishes. In every state, devotional service is joyful. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition. The Lord says, Pattam Pushpam Phalam Toyam. If one is ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, so Krishna is so merciful that if devotee does not have anything, he can offer some patra, tulsi patra or something, a flower which is available outside also, and one can do a small fruit. And if that is also not possible, then he can just give some water to the Lord. So uh, Krishna is so merciful that he can be satisfied by just by taking water. See, that doesn't mean that we don't give to Krishna even if we have. If somebody has, then somebody should give. Then he or she should give Krishna more. But if one does not have, then at least one can offer some water. So this is the case. He's ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, never mind what. Even a leaf, flower, a bit of fruit, a little water, which are all available in every part of the world, can be afforded by any person, regardless of social position, uh, and will be accepted if offered with love. There are many instances in history simply by tasting the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages like Sanat Kumara became great devotees. Therefore, devotional process is very nice and it can be executed in a happy mood. God accepts only the love with which things are offered to Him. So actually, Lord is not in need of all things we are giving. Lord has already so much opulence in the spiritual world. But what does Lord needs is love from our side, that we love Him. Like we give so many times example. Suppose in a house there is a small child and he goes to the garden which is maintained by a mother, picks one flower from that and offers the same flower to the mother on her birthday. So now, just by this one thing, he can please the mother. So the whole garden was maintained by mother. She should take care, and everything is given by mother only. So this child is taking flower from the same place which is of mother. But what does mother is taking is not taking the flower, but she is taking the love with which the child is given, and she is remembering that love. Similarly, when you offer something to the Lord, it is all belongs to Lord only. Like sometimes we see that we offer water to Ganga. So Ganga water we are offering to Ganga. So it doesn't make any sense. But what we are offering is love and devotion actually. Like somebody offering water to the sun. So in front of sun we are nothing. What can we offer actually? So it is not offering of the thing, but offering of the heart or offering of the love. Similarly, here also we see that one can offer some small things and Krishna will be happy to take that. And these are very simple, even the simplest devotee can get. And we have seen by example also that's just by tasting the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, sages like Sanat Kumara become devotees. The four Kumara story comes in Canto 3 of Bhagavatam. So once they go to Vaikuntha planet, and in the 6 gates they are allowed. In the 7th gate, the Jai and Vijaya, uh, the two guards not allow the four Kumaras, and the four Kumaras in angry mood give them a sharp, give them some uh, curse by which they can go to Batel world. So this story is there, and just by when because of this, all what happens is Vishnu comes out, and on the lotus foot of Vishnu there is a tulsi kept, and just by tasting that tulsi leaves offered to the Lord, what happens is the sages become great devotees. This we have seen there. It is said that this devotion service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayade philosophers claim. Although they sometimes take to so-called devotion service, their idea is that as long as they are not liberated, they will continue devotion service. But at the end, they become liberated, they will become one with God. So it's like somebody wants to climb up the ceiling. What he does, he takes the ladder and climbs up and then throws the ladder because now that is of no use. Similarly, what happens here is the Mayadari philosophers, they do take some devotional service, and they also do sometimes Murti Puja and all, but they do it as a means, not as an end. So as soon as their goal is achieved, then they will give up everything. And they will think that I'll become one with God, which is not possible. So such temporary time serving devotional service is not accepted as pure devotional service. Actual devotional service continues even after liberation. When the devotee goes into spiritual planet in the kingdom of God, he is also engaged in serving there in serving Supreme Lord. He does not try to become one with the Supreme Lord. So whatever services one does here, he does continues after liberation also in the spiritual world also. So he does not try to become one with Supreme Lord. No, he just does bhakti. We all, as we have seen in Bhagavad Gita, actual devotion service begins after liberation. So actually, we'll see that after liberation, one starts to do more devotion service. After one is liberated, when one is situated in the Brahman platform, Brahma Bhuta, one's devotion service begins Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Lavtaparam. No one can understand the Supreme Personality of God by executing Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or any other yoga independently. So all these practices, maybe Karma, Jnana, Ashtanga, it cannot give results if it is not linked with Supreme Personality of Godhead. If there is no bhakti element there is no yoga, then it cannot give results. By these yogic methods, one may make a little progress towards bhakti yoga, but without coming to a stage of devotional service, one cannot understand that what is the personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed that when one becomes purified by executing the process of devotional service, especially by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from realized souls, then he can understand the signs of Krishna or the signs of God. Evam evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogada. When one's heart is cleared of all nonsense, then one can understand what God is. Thus, the process of devotion service of Krishna consciousness is the king of all education and is the being and the king of all confident knowledge. So it is purest form of religion and it can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it. So this is the best knowledge, devotion service, and one should definitely become a devotee of Krishna. That is the best position. Everybody should become a devotee of Krishna. In that way, they'll be saved from this material existence. So thank you very much, Hari Krishna.